Okay, let's be real for a second. When you're in a meeting and someone says the word AI, what's your gut reaction? If you feel your eyes start to roll just a little bit, you are definitely not alone. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get right to a practical, actionable playbook for using AI in HR. You know this meeting. You've been there. The second someone says, hey, we should use AI for this, you can almost feel the energy drain from the room. It's become this huge buzzword that gets thrown around without a real plan. And honestly, it leads to a lot more eye rolling than it does actual results. But what if we could actually change that narrative? What if there was a clear, step-by-step guide to take those vague ideas and turn them into real solutions that solve real problems and, make work better for people? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down right now. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about a crucial mindset shift, reimagining work, not just improving it. Then we'll get into the weeds with a problem-first playbook. We'll see it in action with a real case study about an HR bot, cover the hurdles you're bound to run into, and wrap up by talking about how we need to rethink success itself. Okay, first up, reimagining, not just improving. And this part is the absolute foundation for everything else. Because before you even think about new software or tech, success with AI really starts with changing how you think about the problems you're trying to solve in the first place. And this quote just nails it. The real power of AI isn't about making our current, clunky processes 10% faster. No, it's about having the chance to completely rethink how work gets done from the ground up. It's a tool for transformation, not just tiny tweaks. Here's a really cool way to look at it. Think of traditional software like a spoon. It's built to do one thing really well. But AI is different. It's more like a new raw material, like steel. You'd never ask, what's the one thing steel is for, right? Because you can use it to build anything from a tiny spoon all the way up to a massive skyscraper. AI is that same kind of foundational, flexible building block for our work. And getting used to this new way of thinking, it's like building a muscle. Seriously, it takes real, intentional effort, and you have to practice it over and over. And yeah, it might feel a little awkward at first, kind of like your first day at the gym. But the more you practice looking at problems through an AI lens, the stronger that muscle gets, and the more natural it all becomes. All right, so we've got the right mindset. Let's move to section 2 and get practical. This is the problem-first playbook, and it's your actual strategy for getting started. So, what's the most effective strategy? It's simple, but it's everything. You have to be problem-first and people-led. Forget about the technology for a minute. You need to start with the problem. And even more important, you need to start with the people who are feeling that pain the most. That's how you guarantee you're building something that actually matters. This gives us 2 perfect places to start. First, go after the low-hanging fruit. Go where the friction is obvious. The teams that are drowning in manual work, the processes that everyone knows are slow, the people who are just plain burnt out. They're already desperate for a solution. And second, find your champions. Look for the people in your organization who are already excited and curious about this stuff. Pair them up with someone who knows the tech and let them run with it. I mean, this is such a powerful way to reframe the whole conversation. Stop asking, where can we use AI? And start asking, who already wants to use AI and what do they need from us to get started? When you do that, you're not pushing technology, you're enabling passionate people. And the best ideas are always going to come from them. And here's a super simple framework to keep your projects on track. Before you start anything, just ask these 3 questions. 1, what is the actual problem we're solving? Be specific. 2, who is this for? Who's feeling the pain? And 3, and this one is so important, if AI didn't exist, how would we try to solve this? Sometimes the best answer isn't a fancy tool, it's just fixing a broken process. This keeps you focused on the result, not the tech. Okay, so that's the playbook. Now let's see what this looks like in the real world. We're going to walk through a case study about building an HR support chatbot. So this whole project didn't start with some top-down mandate to go build a bot. Nope. It started with a real human problem. There was an Ask HR team that was completely overworked, understaffed, and just drowning in the same repetitive questions over and over and over again. And this is exactly why getting people on board was the easiest part of the whole thing. The team was already struggling, so when a tool came along that was designed to help them, it wasn't a threat. It was a life raft. And when you're solving a problem that people feel that deeply,
You don't have to convince them to use the solution.
So the journey to build this bot was all about learning as they went. They started small, building a simple prototype just for the HR team to use themselves. This let them test it and build trust. But they hit a wall pretty fast. They realized all their documents were written for humans, with links and images and messy formatting, not for an AI to read. So they pivoted. They actually used AI to rewrite their dense policy docs into clean, simple FAQs. This not only made the bot smarter, but also created a better resource for everyone. Now, that case study is great because it brings up some really common hurdles that pretty much any AI project is going to face. So let's talk about what you need to watch out for. There are 3 big ones. First, as we just saw, most company information is messy and unstructured. Second, so much crucial knowledge, the stuff about how things really get done, it's not written down anywhere. It's just in your experts' heads. And third, you can't have a one-and-done mindset. You can't just launch an AI tool and walk away. It needs constant care and feeding from a human to keep learning and getting better. And all of this brings us to our final and maybe most important section, rethinking success. Because look, if AI is fundamentally changing the work that people do, then you absolutely have to change how you measure whether they're doing a good job. Just think about it for a second. If a bot takes over all the quick, easy questions, what's left for the human team? Only the most complex, the most difficult, the most emotionally draining cases. So their average time to solve the ticket might actually go up. If you're still using old metrics, it's going to look like they're failing when they're actually doing more valuable work than ever. This means we need a whole new scorecard. For that HR team, instead of just measuring an output like how fast they close tickets, we need to measure the impact. We should value the time they can now spend on those really tough, high-empathy cases. And for the whole organization, maybe the goal isn't just low turnover anymore. Maybe it's about measuring something deeper, like if you're truly building a culture where people can grow and learn. At the end of the day, if you're going to be bold enough to use AI to reimagine how work gets done, you have to be just as bold in rethinking how you measure success. If you don't, you risk punishing your people for doing exactly what you asked them to do, which is focusing on the work that matters most. So, let's end the playbook on this mantra of right here. The journey with AI is not about getting it perfect on day one. It's all about speed, learning, and agility. You have to embrace experimentation, build fast, fail fast, learn fast, and pivot fast. So the real question is, what's next for you? Don't worry about some grand 5-year strategic plan. What's one small, problem-focused step you can take this week to start your own journey from buzzword to real-world business impact? I really hope this playbook gives you a place to start.